Hello, welcome back to another Python interview practice problem. Today we're going to do the reverse linked list 2 on the top interview 150 on LeetCode. So the problem here, we're given a left index and a right index starting at 1, and we need to reverse the nodes at those indices in a linked list. So this first example here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are the values in the nodes, and the left index is 2, the right index is 4. So we need to reverse those 3 nodes, so the list reads 1, 4, 3, 2, 5. So first thing we'll do is we'll make a variable to keep track of the index that we're on. Say I equals 1, and we're going to make a variable to keep track of what current node we're looking at. So we're going to say current is head. Then we're going to make a variable that's going to have our previous node, which we will need to hold on to the previous node so that we can reconnect after reversing those nodes that we need to reverse. We can connect it to that sublist to the larger list. We can make those connections back. And we can find out which node is going to be our previous node with a loop here. We'll say while I is not equal to left, the left-hand index is going to tell us where our what index is going to be right after the previous node, right? So if our I is the first node, if left is 1, then we'll just skip over this part, and previous will remain none. But if we start on a later node, like 2, we will say previous equal to current, and then we're going to say current is equal to current.next. And then we are going to increment I. And then if we're going to put in here, this is just an error catching measure. If current ends up being none, meaning that we have reached the end of the list, but we haven't found our left index, then we're just going to return head. We just return the original list. So we're going to then make a stack, and this is how we're going to reverse our nodes. We're going to say while I is not equal to right stack, and we're going to add the stack our current node. And then we're going to keep going until we reach the right-hand side, the right index that we're given. So we're going to go current is current.next. I plus equals 1. And then again, we're going to do this error catching method just to be sure if if our right index is off of is past the length of the list, we'll just return the list so it doesn't throw an error. So then we're at the right-hand side, but we're including the right-hand side, right? So you see that it goes from 2 to 4, but we're also including 4. So we need to add one more node to the stack. We need to say if there is another node here, if current, then we're going to add this last node to the stack. And then we're going to move one more forward. So that this is now the new current is going to be what we're going to connect our reversed list to on the right-hand side. So now we can start with the actual process of reversing the list now that we have it stored up in a stack. So we're going to say while stack, meaning while there are still elements in the stack, and we're going to say if previous isn't none, which previous would only be none if we are starting on node 1, right? Because like I said, here, if we just skip over this part, we never set previous anything. So if I is equal to 1 and that doesn't change, there's the left-hand side is just 1, then we're going to start with the head of the list. So the head of the list is going to be the first element that we pop off the list. Or I'm sorry, the first element that we pop off the stack. So we'll say head is equal to stack.pop, and then previous equal head. So whether now so now either way we have a previous, right, which is the node that we're connecting, the node on the left that we're connecting our remaining nodes on the stack to, and we're going to say previous next equals stack.pop, and then previous equals previous.next. And then finally, after we have popped all of those off the stack, we can say that the last previous that we're on, which is the last node that we just that we just popped off the stack and connected to the one before it. Then we need to connect that to our larger list, the current that we found up here, where we found it at the end of the right-hand side. We need to connect the last element popped off the stack to that. In this case, it would be connecting 4 to 5, right? So then what we're going to do is we're going to say previous.next equals current, and then return head. And let's give that a shot. Uh-oh, what did I do? If current is equal to, and there we go. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.